they'd given up for dead. In this in 1975, and we went down there, and the lady was supposed to die within a few days, and we went down there and prayed for her, and God healed her. 4 days later, she walked out of the hospital. On the way coming back from Columbia, Missouri, this 1975. 1975, we called them glory fits, and we had the driver pull off on the side of I-70, and my friend and I, Bob Stewart, he and I got saved about the same time. We had a glory fit. We just took off running on the side of the freeway, I-70. Just we were so full of life and so excited we could not contain it. We had to get out of the car and run and just. I remember those of you that had been down to Macon when we preached down to Macon, that. Highway 36 that goes from Macon to Cameron, and then we take 35 from Cameron to here. I remember as a new believer, I'm driving along in my car, brand new believer, listening to praise and worship. Back in those days it was cassettes, long before CDs. And I remember driving by myself and having this God encounter. Early in the 70s sometime. And I'm driving down the road and the Spirit of God fell. The Spirit of God fell, and I had to pull the car over and have a glory fit. I had to run along the highway. So I said that to say this. This is one of the most important things I want to say. Years go by and I've had encounters, but I didn't have the glory fits. Recently, within the last few months, I would say, that some of you, and I've said this sometimes, in listening to the new CDs and listening to new music, when I run errands on Mondays and Thursdays, I'll be listening to different CDs to find new music, and the Spirit of God will fall in my van. Just like as a brand new believer. A lot of what I'm talking about as encounters and meeting with God in such a way is that there's no longer boredom, no more apathy, no more compromise, complacency, deadness, emptiness, can't wait to get out. That there's an excitement. When Pastor Nero prayed over it, actually talked about we come with a spirit of expectation. Rather than coming out of set the law or duty, well, it's Wednesday, you know, there's times when there's certain things we don't really look forward to doing. I mean, who looks forward to, well, I got to go wash my car.
Right.
So if the car is really dirty, got all kind of salt from the winter, you know, so I got to go wash my car. Don't want to take the time, but I need to wash my car. Thank God I got that over with. And that's how some people look at church. Thank God I got that over with.
Right.
Can't wait. I'll go get God off my back for another week, and then. Right. So there's a place of encounters, and so basically coming back to the altar, coming back to the place of fresh, new encounters with God. Right. The altar is a place of change. That can be anywhere. That can be in the shower. It can be driving down the road. It can be mowing the grass. Sometimes whenever I'm riding the lawnmower, some of the time I hear God the clearest.
Amen.
Because the altar is, I'm going to talk a little faster, it's a place of encounter. It's a place of change. An altar is just, you can be anywhere, even during the song service. I'm confessing. I'm confessing because I'm just seeing Him. I'm seeing Him so high lifted up, I'm seeing where I really am. Yeah. And I'm seeing I've wasted time. And so confessing. So an altar is just, there's an altar right there. So I want you to think, just, you know, here we are we have a foundation. Just I want you to think of and I'll go into the definitions of it more than another time. But I just want you to think, anywhere that you heard me say recently, build an altar. And in prayer time, during praise and worship, just build an altar. When the message being preached, it's a place of, an altar can be a place of confession. That anytime the Spirit of God convicts you, just confess. Yes. It can be a place of repentance. Yes. So right here, during the songs, I'm confessing and repenting. I'm having fresh encounters with God. My life is being changed. After 40 years, I'm being changed. Amen. And new things are happening. An altar is a place to be reconciled with God. Amen. It's a place to be forgiven. It's a place to forgive other people. An altar is just a place. Think of what happened Sunday morning during the convention. How many people were baptized in the Holy Spirit? It's a place to get saved. It's a place to get baptized in the Holy Spirit. It's a place to get baptized in fire. It's a place, an altar is just any place that you are to receive some fresh oil, some newness within your life. It's a place to be healed, an altar. And you're going to get healed mentally, emotionally, physically, sexually, all kinds of. It's a place, and I want you to stop and think about an altar. That whenever we preach and we do deliverance at the word, it's an altar. People are being healed. People are being delivered. People are getting set free. I want you to think, as an altar, it's a God encounter. I come in with fear and I leave without it. I come in with pride and leave with the whole lot less than what I came in. I came in selfish and I left more generous, more loving than I came in. So what we never want to do, we never want to become comfortable just coming in, tolerating a church service, and going out. We call that Christianity. And by their fruits or by their appetites. People, you know people. So I don't want to, God doesn't want us to be bored, and His presence is full of some joy. An altar is a place of worship. It's a place to really worship God. Well, it's a place that whenever we lose, you know who sings, you know who praises and worship? Someone who's thankful. Someone that realized where they were and realize where they are and where they're going. And realize how good God is. You'll sing. You'll thank God. Whenever we lose, whenever we're not thankful and we're not grateful for who God is and what He's done with their life, someone that's really grateful, the song service for them is too short. For other people, it's too long. But it's a place of worship, and you can just be worshiping as you drive down the road. It can be anywhere, anytime. It can be daily. It can be, it's another way to say your secret plane. An altar can be different Gethsemanes that God had you. Paul the Apostle said, I die daily. So there's different altars. Anytime God deals with you, convicts with you, challenges you to go deeper, to go higher, to go further than you've ever been, invites you to go where only the Spirit of God can take you. It's a place to die to self. It's a place of resurrection. That you died, but on the other side there's resurrection. It's a place of freedom. It's a place where our life is transformed. So you can build an altar. You can be transformed in your car. You can be transformed in your secret place. You can be transformed reading your Bible, praying, being in love with God. You can be transformed. It's not law, it's not legalism, it's not duty. Well, I better read my Bible or else I feel guilty. No, God's going to talk to you. And you're going to hear what the Spirit say to you. And you're going to come into alignment with the assignment, and your life will be changed. And I got this from Pat Schatzline book. An altar is a place where who you are gets interrupted by who God wants you to be.
Amen.
There's a divine supernatural interruption. So I want to give Him credit for that.
Amen.
Okay? The rest of this I just sat down and the Holy Spirit gave this to me. It's a place to receive vision, the fresh vision, new sight. You're constantly going to new places, new times. It's a place. An altar can be a place that you hear God's voice. Now that I'm going to give you scriptures for all these as time goes on, I'm going to give you, kind of encapsulate everything I'm going to say here, right here from the beginning, so that you understand. I believe that you could be in society, get kind of vexed out there in your school and in your job, and in society you can be kind of vexed when the atmosphere is taken in here. The manifested presence of God has been manifest. Satan is the prince of power of the air. When no devil would come near within the mile of this plane, that the presence of God is so strong that the glory cloud of God is formed, that out of the cloud God will speak, and we begin to hear God's voice with clarity. Now there's not confusion. There's not. Do you ever think that anything demonic and satanic has been paralyzed? Now you can hear clearly. Now the outward man has become calm, and the demons have been paralyzed, and now you're hearing God's voice, and you receive it. It's a place to receive guidance and direction. It's a place, an altar is a place for death and changing the life. It's a place for barrenness and changing the fruitfulness. It's a place where deserts are changed into watered gardens. It's a place where empty places are filled. It's where the lame begin to walk in the power of the demonstration of the Spirit. It's a place where a carnal mind become spiritually. It's an altar can be a memorial to God. I can't remember exactly what this is, but in listening to David Wilkerson, the Pure Bride, on on YouTube, the site that comes under pure mind. There's something about the secret prayer life when he was talking about that when he was pastoring a little church in Pennsylvania, and he used to watch 2 hours of television before he went to sleep every night. God dealt with David, you're wasting your time, and if you give me this time in prayer, I'll change your life. I'll use you. He sold the television. He got rid of the television. He began to spend 2 hours with God every night for months. He would get along with God, and he would go to the church to share. And he couldn't speak. He would weep, and they thought he's having a nervous breakdown. But he was being so moved by the Holy Spirit. He'd be filled with the love of God, with a genuine burden for the souls of men and women. So then time goes by, and he reads a Life magazine where these gang members in New York got arrested, and God said, "This is it, David. This is the beginning." And he began to gets in the car to go to New York. Several times he would go to New York, and he would be driving down the highway. He could only drive for 30 minutes, 45 minutes or an hour. He would be so moved by the Spirit of God, he would have to pull off the road and pull his car off the road, go over find a big tree over there, and kneel down and weep and wail, travail, and agonize, groaning that cannot be uttered. He said, all the rest of his life, he would remember God at Canada. He would remember those trees. He could drive down that highway, remember the times he met with God. See, there's different times. See, you hear me talk about Highway 36 in the 70s, where the Spirit of God fell in my car, and I had to get out of the car. I had to run down the freeway. I was younger and skinnier in those days, and I just run down we call them glory fit. There's just time we would just meet with God our life. See, basically, that's God intended. It's an altar could be like a memorial. It's not like you have to always build something. And that David Wilkerson, that was a memorial. He would see the tree, remember what God. He would remember weeping and wailing. He remembered the love of God. He began to get the heart of God. He began to feel what God felt for those young men. He had no idea about the drugs and crime and everything and gangs in New York City, but God would prepare him. God would do it work within him, so that an altar could be like a memorial. Oh my God, I remember. You can remember, some of you have certain circumstances in the church, in this building. You can look at a certain part and remember you got a prophetic word or something happened. You got a healing. You got a deliverance. And there's going to be time, 20 years down the road from now, 30 years, 40 years from now, you're going to remember certain things that God did within your life. Right in this little building right here, in your house, in your kitchen.
Amen. Yes.
God did something. It's a memorial. An altar sometimes have a price. It'd be costly. An altar, the key thing, an altar is a place of sacrifice. And I'll say more about that in a little bit. Now, I've got you in Genesis chapter 8. Now, many times what I do with big topics, I start at the beginning of the Bible and I begin to work to the back. Well, I'm just going to go for a while, then we're going to stop. And then what we're going to do at the end, for those of you who got the time and the energy to stay, we're going to build an altar. We're going to worship. We're going to honor God. We're going to worship Him in spirit and truth here, for those who got the time and energy to stay. In Genesis chapter 8, verse 20. And Noah built an altar unto the Lord. Now basically, what has happened, this is after the flood. Can you imagine that building an ark for 100 years, working on an ark for 100 years, and God tells him it's going to rain. There's going to be so much rain, there's going to be a flood. Well, it never rained in those days. So he preaches for 100 years, and no one gets saved other than his family.
Right.
Okay, so you talk about having to stand alone. Can you imagine preaching for 100 years and no one gets saved? Yeah. And so he builds this ark. Can you imagine that basically Noah's in a place where everybody he knew, died.
Yes.
And he and his family was preserved by an ark because God told him to build an ark. Can you imagine now the flood, the water begins to recede. He comes out of the ark, and God doesn't tell him build an altar. He's so grateful. Yes. See, he's so thankful. Can you imagine? Yes. Can you imagine every living thing be destroyed? Yeah. Except you and your family? No. See, how much destruction do we see going on around us? So he builds an altar. He gets up he's so grateful, he's so thankful. When we stop being grateful, thankful, come on, say to God.
Yeah, that's true.
He built an altar. I'm telling somebody who understands, somebody who had 1 foot in hell and just hanging on to earth. Somebody been to hell and back. They're going to pray. They're going to sing. They're going to pray. They're going to be. There's something. They're going to build an altar. Wherever they are, they're going to build an altar. You don't have to be stationary to build an altar. People going around dancing. What are they doing? They're dancing on the altar. They're dancing upon an altar. And I'll get into the definition of the altar. And Noah built an altar unto the Lord. Unto the Lord. Very important. So your secret place, the time that you spend with God, when you read your Bible, it's not a law, legalism, not a sense of a duty, or I feel guilty if I don't read the Bible, or if I don't pray. No, it's God going to speak to you. We're going to talk to God. Father going to talk to you. And son and daughter going to talk to Father God.
Yes.
Noah built an altar to the Lord, took of every clean beast and every clean fowl, and offered burnt offerings unto on the altar. And God smelled a sweet savor, and the Lord said in his heart, I will not again curse the ground anymore for man's sake, for the imagination of man's heart is evil from its youth, neither will I again smite the earth anymore, and every living thing as I have done. Okay, so he builds an altar. He was so grateful. Can you imagine? Understanding everybody else dead.
Yes.
Wow.
See, when you see that, my God, I can be in hell right now. I can be burning right now in hell.
That's true.
Remember, we Bill and complained about some things. There's some people in nursing homes with paralyzed bodies that'll change bodies with you.
Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord.
Genesis chapter 12, please.
That's true.
I'm going to move a little faster at the beginning of this, so I don't want to get too bogged down. Genesis chapter 12. Now God had said to Abraham, get thee out of the country. So basically, he was in the land of idolatry, and God tells him to leave. Now God had said to Abraham, get thee out of the country, from your kindred, and from your father's house, unto the land that I will show thee. That's a spiritual journey. That sometimes you got to leave all that you're familiar with, leave family, leave home, and you leave, and where are we going, God? I'll tell you once you leave where you are. It's a spiritual journey. God's not going to explain to you every little detail. It's by faith he left. That's why he's called the father of faith. And I'll move a little faster. I will make of thee a great nation. I will bless thee. I will make your name great. Thou shalt be a blessing. And I will bless them that bless thee, and I will curse them that curse thee. And in thee shall all the families of the earth be blessed. So Abraham departed. Now, God tells him, leave everything, leave your family, leave where you are, leave all your kindred, leave everything that you're familiar with. I will go to a land that I'll show you.
Wow.
And Abraham departed. That's faith.
Amen.
Leave where you are. See, leave the barrenness and go to fruitfulness. Leave the sickness and go to hell. Leave on the way to hell, and go into a journey, I'm going to heaven. Leave the sickness and go to hell. Okay, so Abraham departed, God had spoken to him, and Lot went with him, and Abraham was 75 years old when he departed. And Abraham, verse 5, Abraham took Sarai his wife, and Lot his brother's son, and all their sons, and they gathered all the souls they had gotten out of the Haran. They went forth to the land of Canaan. To the land of Canaan they came. Verse 6, and Abram passed to the land, to a place of Sychem, and to the place of Moab, and the Canaanite was in the land. Very important. Verse 7. And God appeared to Abram. When did God appear to him? After he left?
Yes.
Where he was.
Yes.
Come on. And he began the journey. So what happened when he left? You ever been a little dry, barren, unfruitful, a little bit dead, desolate, empty, unfulfilled, frustrated?
Oh, yes.
Maybe we haven't left the land of Agar.
That's true.
That's true.
God appeared.
Right.
God says, leave everything you're familiar with. Go to, I want you to leave. Where are we going? I'll tell you when you get there. So he departed. And God appeared unto him. Obedience is one of the keys. Obedience is such a key to being alive in God.
Yes.
And God appeared to Abram and said, unto your seed, your children, 75 years old with a barren wife, unto your seed, unto you and your children.
Right.
His wife is barren, he has no children. Unto your seed will I give this land. There he built
An altar.
wife still barren, still 75 years old.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
Nothing has happened, but what does he do? He builds
An
Oh my God, say to God. He builds an altar. I never don't dare you. Every time you're time, build an altar and pray to God. Every time it's the time the prayer begins, build an altar. Begin to pray to God. Every time it's to begin to worship, begin to worship. Build an altar, begin to worship God. Every time the word reads, build an altar. An altar, teach you. I'm going to teach you. Teach me, God. Don't let me remain in this land of barrenness. Get me out of this land. Get me out of this land of idolatry.
Amen.
And God appeared to him, and he built his response. He builds an altar. Oh my God, come on, take that, God.
Amen.
He builds an altar. Because there's such a, what happened? He had a God encounter. God appeared in him. Oh my God. See, what we don't want to do is come in and tolerate a church service and never experience the God of the church. Oh my God, come on, saints of God. He has a God encounter. His life has changed. Nothing, his circumstance hasn't changed, but he builds an altar because God gave him a word, and then the word there was an assignment, and he chose to come into alignment with the assignment.
Yes.
He builds an altar unto the Lord who appeared to him.
That's awesome.
Okay, so let's go to Genesis 22. A whole lot goes through, and then a whole lot of circumstance, a whole lot of situation, a whole lot of decision, and some mistakes.
Yes.
Yes.
25 years elapsed by the time he was given the promise of a child. And he tries to do something in the image of his flesh, and finally 25 years later,
Yes.
he had the son Isaac. In chapter 22 of Genesis, it came to pass in verse 1, that came to pass after that God tested. Boy, is there ever a testing spirit upon the church today.
Sure is.
Came to pass that God came to the place of testing and trying Abraham, and said to him, Abraham, and he said, here I am, God. And he said, take now thy son, thy only son, Isaac, whom thou lovest, and get thee to the land of Moriah. One of the ways that God will test it, don't give me your arthritis. Don't give me your pain in your elbow. Give me something you love.
Right.
Give me something, someone that you love. Sometimes an altar will cost you something.
Yes.
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 The sacrifice.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll say that a little
It's
while.
true.
I want to get
That's
to it.
true.
And he said, take now thine only son, Isaac, whom thou lovest, and get thee to the land of Moriah, and offer him there for a burnt offering upon one of the mountains that I will tell you of. And look at the faith. Give me your son, go to Mount Moriah, offer up your son Isaac. And verse 3, and Abraham rose up early in the morning, saddled his donkey, took two of his young men with him, Isaac his son, and claimed the wood for the burnt offering, rose up, and went to the place that God had told him. What's he going to do? He's going to build an altar.
Place God told him.
He's going to give God his son that he loves. There could be times that people come to church and God will go say, give me something that you love. Give me something, someone.
Yes.
There may be someone in your life that you love.
Yes.
And God said, give me.
On the altar.
Put it upon the altar. So a whole lot goes on. I don't want to get you. So Abe, look at verse 7. Isaac spoke unto Abraham his father and said, my father. And he said, here I am, my son. Behold, there's fire, there's wood, but where's the lamb? Well, I hate to tell you this. Where's the lamb? And Abraham said, my son, God will provide for himself a lamb for a burnt offering. So they both of them went forth together, and they came to a place that God had told him of. And Abraham built
An altar.
There.
And Abraham built an altar,
Right there.
and laid the wood in order, and bound Isaac his son, and laid him upon the altar,
Yes.
and upon the wood. And Abraham stretched forth his hand, and took the knife to slay his son. And the angel of God called to him out of heaven, Abraham, Abraham. He said, here I am, God. Do not lay your hand upon the child. Do not do anything to him, for now I know. For now I know.
Yes.
See, that was one of the ways that God tested the Israelites, that offer up what they gave to God if it was an animal, you didn't want to offer up God a lame, blind, deaf
Right.
animal. So there's a lot in it. Lay not your hand upon the land, do that for now, and now I know. Now I know that you are willing to give me something, someone that you love.
Yes, Lord.
That you love me more.
Oh, yes.
That you love me more. Love God, love people.
Yes.
Now I know, for now I know that you fear God, seeing that you have not withheld.
Amen.
People come to church and they say that they love God, but they got a lover. But that married, they got a lover, and they love their lover. They love the sin that they have with their lover. And God said, "Give me."
Right.
Yes, Lord.
Fine right there.
That's right.
Give me.
Yes. Oh.
For now I know that you fear God, see that you have not withheld. The word withheld there in the Hebrew means you have not refused, you have not preserved, you have not restrained, you have not kept back, you have not withheld from me.
Amen.
Oh.
What is God testing you and I with? What's He asking? What's He trying? What is He doing with my heart? The prophetic word to them, the heart. But the heart.
Yes.
You have not withheld your son, thine only son from me. Go to verse 15. And the angel of the Lord called Abraham out of the heaven the second time. The angel of God called Abraham out of the heaven a second time and said, by myself have I sworn, said the Lord, for because you have done this thing, you have not withheld your son,
Yes, Lord.
thine only son. That in blessing I will bless thee, and in multiplying I will multiply. I will multiply your seed. What got multiplied? What He was willing to give.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Amen.
Oh.
Yes.
Yes, Lord. So awesome.
Amen.
I will multiply your seed as the stars of the heaven and the sand that's upon the seashore, and your seed shall possess the gate of his enemy. And in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed.
Yes, Jesus.
In your seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed,
Yes.
Amen.
Oh.
Amen. Amen.
because
Yes.
you have obeyed.
Yes, Lord.
Christ.
Amen.
There's an altar, obedience.
Yes,
Amen.
Lord.
And
From that.
an altar is a place of obedience. It's an altar can be a place of testing or proving our hearts.
Yes, Lord.
Oh.
Will I obey or will I disobey?
Right.
Yes.
I'll obey.
Obey.
So promotion came because he obeyed the voice of God, and it should cost Abraham what he loved, who he loved.
Yes.
Yeah.
And because he was willing to give up his son that he loved,
Yes.
he became a father of a multitude.
Amen. Amen.
Wow.
Wow. Yes.
God
Right.
multiplied what he gave to him. And turn to Genesis chapter 26, if you don't mind, precious saints of God.
No. Jesus is coming. Wow.
Genesis 26.
Whoa.
All I'm going to do is just scratch the surface tonight, just tip of the iceberg today, what I really want to say. I really want to make sure that I communicate well, that what I'm not saying is, and we'll get into as time goes on, how they would build altars out of mud brick, and they would build altars of stone. There was all kind of different altars. They would build altars of stone, and there could be just a great big stone, and they could make that altar. There's a whole lot of different things. The brazen altar, the altar of incense. There's a whole lot of aspects upon that. But what I really want to communicate to you is that our hearts can be an altar. That no matter where you are at any time, you can build a spiritual altar. That's what I'm talking about.
Yes. Thank God.
We'll get to that a little bit. I'm going to show you that there are spiritual sacrifices. And that's what I really want to say. That there are spiritual sacrifices, and that's one of the main aspects of an altar, is that they're sacrificed. Okay, Genesis chapter 26. We're going to begin in verse 17. And Isaac departed from there. And pitched his tent in the valley of Gerar, and dwelt there. And Isaac digged again the wells of water which they had digged in the days of Abraham his father, for the Philistines had stopped them. Very important thing, there's a thing, they're called redigging the wells.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically wells were dug and then they got clogged up. We dug another well, the wells would come, the enemy would come. Have you ever seen someone really get saved, really get baptized, really get a call, get prophesied to, God really begin to move to them? The next thing you know, the enemies of God come and the well gets stopped up.
Yes.
Yeah.
See, anger, offense, unforgiveness, bitterness, rebellion, alcohol, drugs, immorality, pornography, gambling, whatever comes in, and the well gets stopped up.
Yeah.
Something happened. Okay, so the well was dug, and then the well gets filled up. That's what I had Pastor Jim bring out my little illustration with the glass jugs
Right.
full of rocks, and then half full of rocks, and then just a few working down the bottom.
Right.
Okay, so verse 18. Isaac dug again the wells of water which they had dug in the days of Abraham his father, for the Philistines are the enemies of God. They had come and stopped them. We have enemy, there's demon spirit, the devil
Yes.
himself, that would come and want to stop up your well.
Yes.
Out of your belly shall flow rivers of living water.
Yes.
What we're talking about is the people have been in church 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years and no river flowing out of the belly.
Yes.
That's what I began to realize in the 80s, the first church I ever pastored. I realized what God said, but that river was not flowing out of me. So I had to compromise God's word to come down where I was living, or change my life to come up where God said I could live.
Yes,
so I
Lord.
wanted that river to flow into me. So I began for 5 years. I'm desperate seeking God. I want to see God until the
Amen.
river flows out of me.
Oh,
Yes,
yes,
Lord.
he did. Wow.
That's what we got to do. The Spirit of God will challenge you.
Oh,
The Spirit of God came to Abraham in the land of idolatry.
Oh.
Leave the land of idolatry and go to the promised land.
Yes, Lord.
Yes.
So he departed.
Yes.
Wow.
A lot of mistakes upon the journey. So have we.
Yes.
We've made, don't laugh at I don't laugh at Abraham anymore, because I've made
Amen.
as many or more mistakes than what he's made.
Amen.
Yes.
Amen.
All of us.
Okay, the Philistines had stopped at the wells after the death of Abraham, and he called the names after the names of his father that had called him. And Isaac's servants digged in the valley and found there a well of springing water. So one well was dug, stopped up, another well was dug, stopped up, and they found there a well of springing water. How many know God digging a well within you?
Yes,
They're getting the rocks out of your well. They're getting the unforgiveness, the bitterness, the unbelief, the pride, the self-condemnation, the anger. It gets some things out of me. And what it did to you.
Yes.
They found there a well of springing water.
Oh,
And the herdmen of Jebar, they began to strive with them. They tried to be contend, and they were adversary with Isaac's herdmen, saying, "This water is ours." And he called the name of that place Esek, which means contention, because they began to strive with him. So what they did, they began to dig another well, and so for that also, and he called the name of that Sinah, which means opposition. And they removed from there. See, there's a journey. There's a journey. If I don't get the breakthrough here, if I don't get the breakthrough today, I get tomorrow. I don't get tomorrow, I get the next day, next week. I'm going to play a tail. I'm not giving up. I'm not surrendering. I'm not going backward. There's nothing back there.
Oh,
Amen.
yes.
For sure.
So verse 22, and he removed them there and dug another well for that, and for that they strove not, and he called the name of it Rehoboth, which means enlargement. We had
Yes.
a message preached recently, enlargement increase. Okay, so basically, because he kept digging, he kept pursuing, he kept fighting for that breakthrough, it come too late, and now enlargement, so now he digs a well, and there's a place of freedom, so now they can drink from this well. There's a place that God will give you peace, all the striving, the contention, the warfare, everything that comes against you to stop up your well, to keep you from getting full of God, full of anointing, full of the life of God, full of the love of God, full of the power of God, and God will be stopped coming against you, and you're going to be full of God, and the devil's not going to be able to come and stop up your well.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, Lord.
Yes.
Yes.
No
Okay, so come to the place of the Lord, and he said, for now God has made room for us, and we shall be fruitful.
Yes.
Why? Because we got a well to drink of. I found a church.
Oh,
I found a secret place. I found a place that I found a spiritual well. I plead with God. Make this place right here, make this a spiritual well where the thirsty can come and drink, where the hungry can come and eat the bread of the heavenly manna. And be fed the word of God. Be fed the truth of God.
yes, Lord. Oh.
For now God has made room for us, and we shall be fruitful
Yes.
within the land. And he went up there from there to Beersheba. And God appeared to him. God appeared to him because he wouldn't give up.
That's awesome.
He did well, something happened. Get a breakthrough, something happened. Didn't get a breakthrough, something would happen.
Yes.
But he kept contending for the breakthrough. The Lord been increased. Until he comes to a place that, and he dug a well, found a place. I found a spiritual well. I found a place I could drink spiritually.
Yes.
And God appears to him the same night.
Oh, glory.
And said, verse 24, I am the God of Abraham thy father. Fear not, for I am with thee. I will bless thee. I will multiply your seed unto my servant Abraham's sake. And there, after having this God encounter, having a life-changing experience with a life-changing God, he builds an altar. See, you get a strong touch from God, don't walk out like, well, that's just coincidence. No, build an altar. Let it be a memorial to you. Don't just take that for granted. Let me just have God trying to change my mind. He wants line upon line, precept upon precept, faith upon faith. We're going to grow.
Amen.
We don't just say, get a touch from God, then forget about it. Think when that accidentally happened. No, I'm going to take that. I'm going to grow with that. God planted a seed within me. I'm going to water that seed. It's going to grow within me. So he has a God encounter. He has a meeting with God. God's going to touch him. He has a life-changing experience with the life-changing God. He continued, God honored him. He dug a well. He found a place of peace where he found a church where he could drink. He dug a well where he could soothe his thirst. And then God appears to him because he didn't quit when one thing went wrong. He didn't throw in the towel. He didn't become angry. He didn't play the picture. I'm a victim. He didn't play the blame game. He saw God and tell. And then God appears to him. And then he began to build an altar. And there he called upon the name of the Lord. And he pitched his tent there. Why? Because he had a meeting with God there. He had a life-changing experience with a life-changing God. So he builds an altar there. My God, my God.
Amen.
He builds an altar there and he called upon the name of God. You know, I didn't really want to come. I mean, I enjoy you, but I don't want to watch you call upon the name of God. I want to call upon, I want to be so busy, call upon God for myself. And you need to be called upon God for yourself. And we all have the corporate anointing and he wants us to come here a mile this way. Come on, somebody needs to give God some praise. Get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready. We're going to build an altar there. You know, just kind of, you know, we all just kind of have our own little altars, so to speak. But you notice that folk are real comfortable sitting in the same place.
Yes.
I feel comfortable.
Oh, yes.
You ever come in late, someone sitting here? He meets with God. God appeared to him. And he built an altar there. See, he's not going to say, well, maybe another 10, 20 years God will touch me again. No, he has this life-changing experience. He has a God encounter. He builds an altar. And he began to call upon the name of God. I know how to, I have this breakthrough, and I'm going to keep this victory. I got this touch of joy. I got this anointing. I'm going to keep this anointing. And this anointing is so, the joy, the peace, the love. It's so much better. God finds the heart of my life. That's where the heart. Somebody needs to give God some praise. Come on, give God some praise. Get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready. Somebody give him a praise. He built an altar. He called upon the name of God.
Yes. So awesome.
We never want to feel comfortable going through a day without calling upon God.
Yes.
There he pitched his tent.
Oh, glory.
Wow.
And there Isaac's servant began to dig a well. We're going to stay here for
Oh,
a while.
Amen.
Wow. We
He
need to watch
did
it.
that well. Oh, glory.
All right, some of my favorite scriptures, Genesis chapter 32.
Another drink. Oh.
I may love Pastor Jan.
Very much.
I love my precious wife.
Yes.
Just watch her praise and worship and she builds an altar wherever she's at.
Amen. Yes.
Amen.
Yes.
Genesis chapter 32. Couple things happen here. Genesis chapter 32 verse 24. And Jacob was left alone, which means a solitary place, isolated from other people, separated. You ever went through some it was really an advantage for me to be a single Christian man for quite a while.
Right.
It really taught me how to become dependent upon God.
Yes.
Yes.
Jacob was left alone, and there began to wrestle, contending, a man with angel, until the breaking of the day.
Oh.
He wrestled until the breaking of the day.
Oh.
Here's basically, this is one of my favorite kind of statements right here. He begins to wrestle until the breaking of the day. This is a situation where his inward man is fully engaged, seeking God. His inward man is fully engaged. I want God. My inward man is fully engaged. I'm not daydreaming. I'm not spaced out. I'm not thinking about what I'm going to do when I leave here. My inward man is fully engaged. I'm going to wrestle until and break it. I'm going to get my breakthrough. I'll wrestle until.
Amen. Amen.
I don't care how many times they step up my well. I don't care how many times they go wrong. He wrestled until the breaking. The breaking of the day, when he saw that he did not prevail against him, the angel of the Lord touched the hollow of his thigh, and the hollow of Jacob's thigh was out of joint, and he wrestled with him.
Yes, I was.
The angel touched him. People that have been touched by God this way, they walk different. And he said, let me go, for the day breaketh. And he said, I'll not let you go until.
Thank you, Lord.
And he said, let me go. I'm not going to let you go until,
Yes,
except thou bless me. And he said it to me, what's your name? Jacob, which means supplanter, manipulator, scheming. Remember, being pretty good manipulator?
Oh, yes, I was.
Used to be.
Scheming, supplanting. Said your name should no longer be called Jacob,
That's awesome.
but Israel. Now, here's one of the points I want to make right here. What I'm saying is that Jacob, to me, this is a beautiful picture of an altar. The Bible right there doesn't use the name altar. This is contending. I'm going to contend, I'm going to pray and tell. I'm going to praise and tell. I'm going to worship and tell. I'm going to read my Bible and tell. I'm going to live for God. I'm going to seek God and tell. God, you said if I would draw nigh to you, you would draw nigh to me. You said I will seek God and I will find God. When I search for God, with all of my heart, so things in mind. When we really contend for a breakthrough, we can get it. Now, I'll illustrate this in a better way here just a little bit. Said your name shall no longer be called Jacob, which means manipulator, supplanter, scheming.
Yes, thank you, Lord.
But Israel, which means a prince with God. For as a prince you have power with God and with men, and you have prevailed. Now turn to Genesis 33. Now I want to show you now, Jacob, it didn't use the word altar there, but I will show you what it says. And remember now the chapter divisions that's just there so you can find the place. Genesis 33 verse 18. Jacob came to Shalem, a city of Shechem, which is in the land of Canaan. When he came to wherever, he pitched his tent before the city. And he bought a parcel of field, and where he had spread his tent, at the hand of the children of Hamor, Shechem's father, for 100 pieces of money. And there he erected an altar. What did he do? He erected an altar. He got the breakthrough. He got the breakthrough, so what did he do afterward?
Yes, worship.
It gets to the land, then what does he do? He builds an altar, like a place of worship. Okay?
Oh, glory.
Genesis 35. Now hang on with me here, because there's something very powerful here. Genesis chapter 35 and verse 1. God said to Jacob, arise and go to Bethel. Bethel means the house of God. Arise and go to Bethel and dwell there. And make there an altar unto God. Make there an altar. Okay, it's a meeting place for God. I want you to go to Bethel, which means house of God, and dwell there, and make there an altar to God. That appeared to thee when you fleddest from the face of Esau thy brother. And Jacob's, now very important. Now I want you to stop and think about different things we see, we discern. This is to help us in ministry. You got to call God upon your life. Jacob said it to his household and to all that were with him, put away your strange gods.
Yes.
Now number one, you go to Bethel, the house of God. Pitch your tent there. Dwell there. Build an altar. Build an altar.
Yes.
So then Jacob said to his household, to all that were with him, put away your strange gods. Now,
Yes.
here's the point I want to make right there. Basically, what God is saying right there through Jacob, he's giving an altar call.
Yay.
See, we never want to become comfortable hearing the voice of God calling, pleading with us
Yes.
to do something,
Oh.
and feel comfortable coming to the house of God, hearing what we should do and not doing it.
Right.
Okay? So there's an altar call here.
Yes.
And the altar call is, deal with put away your strange gods that are among you.
Yes.
And be clean and change your garment. So your garments, people's garments, our body can be filthy. Okay, so we're talking about the flesh. Talking about the heart. Talking about the mind. Sexual thing. So put away the strange gods that are among you and be clean. So then Jacob here is giving an altar call. He's preaching the word and telling everybody with him, his family and everyone around him.
Oh.
Let us arise and go up to Bethel. Let's go to the house of God.
Yes. What a
And
way.
I will make there an altar unto God.
Yes,
So what he's saying, and now listen,
This place
we're going to go
is
to the Bethel, the house of God. We're going to build an altar. We're going to meet with God. So the altar call, the instruction, what the teaching was, put away all your strange gods. Put away everything. Put away all secret sin, all porn, all masturbation, everything, the pride, the selfishness, the anger, the envy, everything you got buried in you think people can't see.
Right.
Yes, Lord.
Yeah.
And they gave it to Jacob, all the strange gods that were in the land, in their earrings and in their ears. And Jacob hid them under the oak that was by Shechem. Now,
Wow.
verse 9. I think I got that one. Hold on a minute. Yeah, verse 9. And God appeared to Jacob again and came out of wherever and blessed him. And God said that thy name is Jacob, thy name shall no more be called Jacob, but Israel shall be thy name, he called by the name. And God said to him, I am God Almighty, be fruitful and multiply, and nation and company of nations shall be of thee, and kings shall come out of thy loins. And unto the land that I gave Abraham, I will give it to thee till you see. And to that, verse 14, and Jacob set up a pillar. Type of an altar, set up a pillar, marketplace, a memorial, in the place where God talked with him, even a pillar of stone, and he poured drink offering. So there was different altars. There would be altars of mud brick. There would be altars of stone. There's a whole bunch of different altars. So then there was a pillar of stone, and he poured the drink offering upon, and he poured it thereon, and Jacob called the name of the place where God spoke to him, Bethel. So the point I want to make there, he built a memorial there, and they gave up an offering. They presented to God an offering. Now remember, where I want to take you there in time is as God wants us to offer up spiritual sacrifices.
Yes, Lord.
Okay, in Genesis chapter 35, verse 16. Now I had this experience, all this promises, God, they were journeying from Bethel, and there was but a little ways to come to Ephrath, and Rachel travailed. She had hard labor. Rachel here is very pregnant. She goes into labor, she's travailing, and it came to pass, when she was in hard labor, that the midwife said to her, fear not, thou shalt have this son also. And it came to pass, and her soul was departing, for she passed on, she died. And she called the name of Benoni, but his father called him Benjamin. Rachel died and was buried in the way to Ephrath, which is in Bethlehem, and Jacob set up a pillar upon her grave, and that is the pillar of Rachel's grave to this day. Now, I want to go back to Genesis chapter 31. Genesis chapter 31, verse 17. One of us said right now, it's a very important thing. That when you really understand, I want to spend some time on the altar, 3, 4, 5 messages. Okay, in chapter 31, verse 17. Then Jacob arose. This is when Jacob is with with Laban, This going back before they left, okay? Before Rachel had the baby. Verse 17, Jacob rose and set his sons and wives upon the camel. And he carried away all his cattle and all of his goods that he had gotten, the cattle of his getting, and that he had gotten in wherever, and to go to Isaac his father in the land of Canaan. And Laban went to shear his sheep, and Rachel had stolen the images that were her father's. Now look right here just a minute. I've been hearing by the Spirit of God for some time, for a couple of weeks, maybe 2 to 3 weeks, I've been hearing in my spirit. And you know, I've taught some of this on Sunday morning about generational curses, ancestral curses, family curses. There's things that run the family. Yeah. So then when Jacob then leaves, Rachel, his wife, then takes along with her family gods. I'll say more about that in a little bit, okay? Yeah. So she decides, I'm going to take the family gods. Yeah. So you see people come out of, they come to a certain age, and so like, everybody, for generation, everybody in their family, they get a certain age, they start drinking, drunken, fornicating, lying, cheating, stealing. So then everybody else is 16, 17 years old, pregnant. Everybody else doing drugs. Everybody else getting high. Everybody else partying. Everybody else getting drunk. So they get a certain age, and so everybody else. Wow. So they take the family gods. Wow. Everybody else in the family. Wow. So I take my family gods. Yeah. Things that run in family. Yes. Whether it be incest, whether it be drunkenness, whether it be drugs, whether it be anger. Worldliness. Come on, preach about somebody saying amen.
Yes.
So, what did she do? She took her family gods.
Yes.
Verse 30.
Yeah.
And now, though thou wouldest needs be gone, because so then Laban, he comes after Jacob and his daughter Rachel, comes after them. He realized, somebody got my family God, took my family idols. And now though thy needs be gone, because sore longest after thy father's house, wherefore thou hast stolen my gods. You got my family gods, my family idols. And Jacob answered and said to Laban, because I was afraid, for I said, pervert, that's why I snuck away in the middle of the night. I didn't want you to know. I was afraid. I was afraid that you would take by force your daughters from me. Now listen what Jacob says. Remember now we talk about curses, word curses, words of death. Jacob says this, because he does not know, he doesn't know that Rachel, his wife, has taken the family God with her. She didn't want to leave the family God. She took the family false god, false idols with her. And Jacob says this with his mouth, whosoever finds my God, let the person, somebody among my family, among my group of people, let the person die.
Wow. Oh, wow.
He speaks words,
Yes.
not knowing that his wife, that he loves, is the person that took the family God. You can have someone that you love, and we'll give up family gods, family idols, family sin, everybody else. And so he said, let the person who had the false god, the false idol, let the person die, for the wages of sin is.
Yes.
Let him not live before a brother. Discern thou what is thine with me, and take it with thee. Wow. Jacob said, you can have it. I didn't take it. Wow. I don't want your false gods. I got the true God.
Yep. Right. Yes. Don't want him.
For Jacob he did not know that Rachel was the one that took him. And Laban went with Jacob's tent and the Leah's tent, and went to the two maid servants' tent, found them not, and went into Leah's tent, and entered the Rachel's tent. And Rachel had taken the images and put them in the camel's furniture, we would call them in today's language saddlebag, and set upon them. And Laban searched out the tent and could not find them. Laban trying to find the false gods. She won't let them go. She's hiding. And she said to her father, Let it not displease my Lord that I cannot rise up before thee, for the custom of women is upon me. He searched me, he could not find the false images. Now here's what I want to try to say, okay? Turn back to Genesis chapter 33. I'm sorry, 35. Back to Genesis 35. Here's the point I want to make, and I think in sharing that, I think this is extremely important, because we never want to become comfortable coming to the house of God, Bethel, hearing the voice of God, hearing the Word of God, and in the Word, God gives an assignment. We never want to become comfortable when God convicts us of saying no.
Yeah. That's cool.
Okay, so, and you can't manipulate God. I've tried.
Yeah.
Me too.
Sometimes I became shrewd enough not to tell God no. I lie another way.
Yes.
Not now.
I'll do it, but just not now.
Yeah.
Delayed obedience is disobedience.
Yes.
So see, basically, the point I want to make in chapter 35 here is that Jacob gets an altar call.
Oh.
Listen, family, everybody with me, give up your strange gods.
Yeah.
What if Rachel would have confessed and repented?
That would have been awesome. Yes. You would
What
have
if Rachel would have confessed and repented? So when Laban, her daddy, came, oh my God.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, she
Whenever
would've-
Laban came then, she would have already confessed and repented. The word was preached.
Yes.
The altar call was given.
Wow.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
What if
right.
she would have obeyed and said,
Oh,
fessed up, I did it,
yes.
I'm guilty, I'm guilty of sin.
Oh, man. Yes.
Yes.
So that she confesses and repent.
Oh.
Jacob loved Rachel and could have sent a messenger back.
Yeah.
Yes. True. Wow.
You are the messenger to pray and intercede for people that fall away from God. You're the messenger.
Yes. Amen. Oh.
Amen. Yes.
You are the inter.
Yes.
I've been listening
Amen.
to Sister Vesta.
Intercessor.
She doesn't say intercessor. Say intercessor.
Oh. Yes.
You're the intercessor.
Oh.
Come on, saints of God.
Yes.
If she were to confess and repent, the altar call was given. She felt comfortable hearing truth and not doing it.
Wow.
And it cost her.
Life.
Yes.
A lot of people will say, okay, I understand where they're coming from. I believe that a lot of people will say, well, Jacob said that because Jacob said that, that's why she died. But there's always a place for confession and repentance.
Yes.
Come on, saints of God.
Amen. Always.
The altar call was given.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes.
The altar call was given. She could confess and repent it. I did it. I'm guilty of sin.
Yes.
I'm the one that did it. I would not give up the family, God. This is running my family for generations. I'm not giving them up.
Right. Yeah.
Wow. Yes.
This is a little bit ugly, but
Great. The willingness.
this came to me about 4 different times, so I'm going to share it. You'll see, this is just an aspect of a curse of mental illness. It could just be a little bit of learning disabilities.
True.
It's just an aspect, just something just a little bit.
A little bit of.
So you see someone come in, and they may be new believers, they may be fairly young in the natural, and they know that generation after generation, you can look back on their family, and all these people have this, and they come in and hear the truth,
Yeah.
they get saved, they get baptized in the Holy Spirit, and they receive the truth. The curse is in you, and it can be broken.
Yes.
And if you can stop it being passed out to your children, you're too young to have children right now. You're not married, you're too young, and so this can be broken. No. This has run in my family for years.
Yeah.
So I put it upon my children. I'll meet my parents. They put stuff upon me, and I'll do even worse to my children.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. This gets worse.
Now we don't exactly put in those words.
Right.
But God doesn't listen to words when our life is speaking much louder than what we say with the mouth. He listens to what we say with our life.
Yes, Lord.
Come on, saints of God.
Yes.
Boy, that's real.
That came to me today when I was studying this. I'm going like,
Yeah.
Wow.
this is like blowing me out of the water.
Whoa.
That's true.
This is blowing me out of the water,
Yes,
saints of God.
amazing. Wow.
This whole topic is just exploding to me.
Oh.
I'll go a little bit further. Let me make a mark here. Okay, turn to Leviticus. Please, Leviticus chapter 6. Yeah, I wanna say something that you may not agree, but I can show you by the scriptures. Sometimes there's death and life is in the power of the tongue. If you read in the book of Acts, Paul the apostle said Elymas the sorcerer